Hey, it's Laura with You Should Grow, and today we're going to get some herbs started for growing on our kitchen counter. So I love growing herbs on my kitchen counter because this is exactly where we need them. You know, we're in the kitchen, we're cooking almost every night, and having some fresh herbs right here in the middle of everything is really helpful. It just makes it so much easier. Now I'm going to start my herbs in the Aerogarden, and I'm going to give you a little tour of the Aerogarden here in a few minutes. But I think the Aerogarden really solves some of the common problems that people have when they want to grow food or herbs inside their house, but they're just not having great success. The Aerogarden really helps with a lot of those common problems. So the first thing is the light. So it doesn't matter if you have a really super sunny window in your kitchen or if you live under a bunch of trees like we do, you're still going to struggle to get light to herbs so that they make just as much leaves, right? So you want leaves from your herbs. So you don't get quite enough light to have good production, even if you have a nice sunny window. So having a grow light in your kitchen if you want to grow herbs indoor is a really a necessity, if you ask me. And this one is pretty cool. It's super bright. And so that's the light on this. This is an LED, an adjustable light too, so it goes up and down. Just like that, just push it down. And that's really nice because when your plants are small, you want them to have light really close and low down. But then as they get bigger, you need to be able to adjust your light and move it up. So it's super simple to do. So I'm just going to turn that off there. So the Aerogarden really makes that easy. Now this, like I said, you can get other lights that do this. The adjustable to get an adjustable light that is maybe a little bit bigger than this one. I was looking on Amazon, and it really comes out to almost the same price as the Aerogarden. So, you know, that's one thing to keep in mind. Then the Aerogarden, I guess, is, if you don't know, the Aerogarden is a hydroponic system. So inside of this chamber, we put water, and then we put the lid on, and then you have to make sure the cord's in. The lid goes on, and then when it's full of water, the water comes up and trickles out, and it pours down over the roots. Your plants grow inside of like a little pod like this. So the roots start coming out, and they just come out and just become like this little trailing thing, like little tentacles or something. So, and these guys just sit in there like that. So this is going to be, we've grown in our Aerogarden before. This is not the first time we've used it. So I'll put up some pictures and show you some pictures of those roots. They're pretty cool. So this is really handy because another problem that people have when they're growing inside and really anywhere, you run into trouble with watering, right? It's easy to forget to water or even overwater your plants. So this solves that problem because it's an enclosed system of water, and it has a little LED that tells you when you need to add water. And so you're going to be doing that every few weeks instead of having to worry about that on a weekly basis or wondering, you know, does this plant need water and this plant doesn't, because some like it a little more dry and some like a higher moisture. So you have to really be paying attention and know something about what you're growing to get that watering right. The other thing is when you water plants that are grown in like dirt and containers, you have to have a drainage hole, right? Otherwise you run the risk of overwatering or getting those roots soggy, and that's not going to be good. So if they're in soil, it's not good. So you have to have a drainage hole, and then if you're watering in your kitchen, and sometimes, you know, maybe it overflows or makes a mess on your kitchen counter, and that's another thing you have to worry about when you're growing in soil that you don't have to worry about with the Aerogarden. The other thing is your Aerogarden is going to make it really easy on you as far as remembering when to fertilize. So indoor plants, outdoor plants, especially anything grown in a container, you have to make sure, and the smaller it is, the more often you need to worry about it. You need to make sure you're adding some fertilizer for the optimum growth on these guys. So the Aerogarden just tells you when to do that. It has a little sensor there, and it tells you when to add fertilizer. So and there's this little hole, this little flap on top where you can just pour your water in and your fertilizer whenever you need to. So it's kind of like gardening, and you don't have to, you just don't have to think about it. Somebody's going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you when to do it, and you're going to get really big plants. It's cool because plants grown in hydroponics actually grow quite a bit faster than they do outside. So it's kind of, or in the soil. So it's fun. You can start from seed and you can be harvesting leaves within a month. So that's pretty exciting about it. Now there are some cons to growing in an Aerogarden. The first one is probably cost. So this unit, we actually got, it was a buy one, get one. I bought the bigger farm unit that we'll do in a separate video. But this is called the Harvest. And this is a couple of years old now, so they may not make this exact one anymore. But I think I saw a similar run, and I think it was $150 or $200. So that's not nothing, right? It's a kind of an expensive unit to have. $200, if it's, $150, $200, it's going to take a long time for you to buy enough herbs, at the store to make up for the cost of it. So if you're trying to grow herbs on your kitchen counter to save money, I would say this is not the way to go. But I'm not convinced that's why I grow food. I do it because I love it and I like having it at home. And the other thing is if the light bothers you, so maybe the light is too bright for you, or you have it in an area where you're trying to watch TV at night or something, and the light really is bright like I showed you. So that potentially could be a negative, just depending on your situation. But I will say it's really easy to get over that. You can just, there's a little switch like I showed you. You turn the light on or off if it's just bothering you and you just can't deal with it. It's also on a timer, like I said, and so you can adjust the timer so that it's off when you want it to be off and on when it's not bothering you. So not a big hurdle to get over. The other thing is that you would need to continue to buy the fertilizer from Miracle-Gro, and you might need to buy some extra supplies, like these little baskets and the little cones that you start your seeds. They sell them pre-seeded. I'm going to go over adding our own seed, but they sell them pre-seeded in little kits, and you can skip all the steps that I'm going to show you for putting the seed in, and you can just plop it in there. So either way, that's just a little bit of an expense that you would have to keep purchasing that if you continue to use it over time. It's distilled water might be an expense. We're on well water, and we like to use the distilled water just because there's well water is higher mineral content. So so those are some of the cons about it. The other thing, and this is really the case for growing herbs indoors, no matter how you grow them, you're going to have to make sure you're growing herbs that you use quite a bit, because anything that's grown inside in an area this small or in a container like a little 4-inch pot or something, those you're going to have to keep pruning. So you have to make sure you're cutting the leaves off. And for example, like today I'm going to start some rosemary. I saw that they were selling rosemary pods on the Aerogarden site, and I thought, well, we'll just try it. That's not, rosemary to me is like a big bush. I think I had like a little bit of a mental block with growing it in something this small, but we're going to get over that and give it a shot. We use a lot of rosemary, so I think it would be fun to have it right here on our kitchen counter. So we're going to give that a shot. But that would be a good one exactly, to that point. If you're not using it a lot, it's going to overgrow this space pretty quickly. So right now what I'm going to do is show you a little bit more about the Aerogarden, and then we're going to put our seeds in and sort of DIY our seeds into the Aerogarden. So this is the water well area where you will pour in the water. Like I said, this is the tray that hangs down, and this is like this little, I don't know, tube thing. It's attached to the lid, so this is all one piece. This little piece goes down into the pump. So the little tube that sticks out goes down into there. inside of the little tube that pokes out of the pump. And then the pump sucks up water, and then there's like a, like a space in between the top part and the bottom part, because the water comes up and then it comes out these little divots here and it just runs down the roots, and that's how they're getting water. And the pump, takes care of itself. I don't turn it on or anything. I just add the water, tell it what I'm growing, and it does everything else. So the pump has a little filter on it and a little cord that comes out. It rests in this little divot here, and then there's another one to make sure it fits in nicely. And then it's all just sits there together. So let's move on to putting the seeds in. All right, Aerogarden sells the pre-seeded pods if you want to use those, but they also sell these little DIY kits, and it comes with the little basket, little plastic basket. This little, it's a soilless growing medium, little cone that it grows in, and it's got a hole in the top. And then it comes with these little lids, and this is your label for your plant. So after we put seeds in, we'll just cap it off, and it just rests there on top. And then there are these little domes, tiny little baby domes, and these go on top. And that's just like, if you watch my seed starting video, I told you that you need to get a container that has a lid on it and leave it on there until the seeds sprout. And that's exactly what this is. So once you put the seed pod in there and it has water, and you put your label on, and then you just snap on the little lid, and we'll just leave it like that. And then it you take it off when it sprouts, okay? And that's all you have to do. So I pre-seeded that one. We're gonna get the basil, and I'm just going to pour them right into the little hole at the top. Where are you guys? There we go. So I got about 3 or 4 seeds in there. And then if all of them sprouted for some reason, which they very well could, if they all sprouted and it got to be too much, you can just, cut some off. So I'm going to put this in there, and find my other. I've already written on these guys. Did you know cilantro is a leafy plant, right? You know what cilantro is. You might not like it. Some people like it and some people hate it. I don't know which camp are you in. Leave me a comment, let me know. Do you love cilantro or do you hate cilantro? And if you say cilantro, I really want to know that too. Okay. So, but cilantro, the leaves, when they grow the plant, that's cilantro. But when you have the seeds, they're little round, they're big, kind of big seeds. These guys, they're called coriander. Did you know that? And that's the herb you use is in the kitchen. Well, now I have too many. Yep. Anyway, just a little tidbit. All right, let's do some rosemary. Now I'm excited about this because I've never grown rosemary from seed before. So we'll give this a try. They're little. So we're going to pour a couple of those in there. Don't have to cover it or anything. Bam. Okay, that's all you have to do. So you can grow anything you want to grow. I was looking around, and I think somebody was growing like cucumbers in their Aerogarden, which is, I mean, you can. I guess that's just kind of crazy because where do you put the plant? But it would be fun. It would be super fun if you did that, if you could figure that out. But these custom pods make it so that you can grow literally whatever you want to grow. Almost any plant will do just fine in hydroponics. So you just got to make sure you're adding the fertilizer. And it says for a, now this is 6-pod garden. This is for a 6 or 7-pod garden to use 8 milliliters at startup and then every 2 weeks. So all right, so I've got all of my seeds and my seeds pods in there, and I'm just going to add the H2O. I'm actually going to do this Now if you look inside of it, there's a little direction as far as how far to fill it. It says fill to here. So there won't be any confusion there. All right. Now on the back side, I haven't had this hooked up because it hasn't been full of water. So I'm going to show you on the back side. You just plug that in, and now it can tell that there's water in there. All right, let's pull up some. Got my 8 milliliters. Now I've got it in. I've got all my little plants ready to grow. All right. Now we're going to hit OK for the menu. All right, so then we get to the main menu. We're going to go down. It says set clock, start a garden, and we're going to hit OK. And start a garden in 2 easy steps. 1, set clock, which we've already done. Okay, PM, clock is set. Plant select. Okay. Herbs. We're going to select herbs. Herbs are selected. Garden setup is complete. So now I've got my Aerogarden all filled with herbs. They're just going to hang out. They'll actually go pushed up against the wall over here. And the light's going to turn on and off by itself. I'm going to go ahead and put my little domes on. Oh, did you hear the pump get going? All right, cool. Excited. So we're just going to let these hang out, let them cook. It's going to keep the temperature right. It's going to keep the light right. It's going to keep the water right, the fertilizer right. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if you've never been able to grow anything before, it's, you know, this is the way to go. It is a little bit of an investment. I can understand that that could be an issue. But I think it's fun because you get to watch plants grow from seed. You can grow anything you want. You don't have to worry about whether you have space. You don't have to worry about whether you have a window. The unit is totally self-contained, takes care of everything for you, sends you little reminders when you need to do things. So to me, it's the best way to grow herbs right on your kitchen counter. So I hope you guys give this a shot. If you wanted to try growing inside, the Aerogarden is the way to go. Now, I will say, I haven't used any of the other hydroponic units. This is the only thing I've ever used to grow with hydroponics in a complete unit like this. So I can't speak to whether this one is better than other ones, just me sharing with you my experience. Leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. I like the thumbs up. They make me happy. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you later.